Stas23 here. In today's Knife Therapy, we have the top 10 best hard use knives that you can actually buy right now. I know my last list was more premium knives. If you didn't see that video, go check it out. These knives, pretty much, I think every single one of these are available that are going to be on this list. And it's going to be knives, the way I'm picking these is knives that I'm actually going to carry. So if I'm more likely to carry a knife over another one, then that kind of makes sense to be that, the one that I choose, because if I'm not carrying it, what does it matter how tough it is? So we'll get started. And these are in no particular order, except I will give you my number one favorite. We're going to go with BENCHMADE. Now, all these are excellent. You can use them hard. The BENCHMADE mini grip, believe it or not, even with the FRN scales, you can beat those senseless. The BENCHMADE 940, another good one, nice and robust. The Axis lock, super strong lock. And this one's an easy one to carry as well. It doesn't have to be the titanium one. And this one as well, the BENCHMADE bailout. M4 steel, nice and thin and compact. This is the one that came with the aluminum scales, which is, a very tough knife, even though it has that thin blade stock. But if I'm going to have to stay true to myself, it's going to have to be the BENCHMADE Mini Adamas. The regular size is probably even stronger than this one. But this one is nice, compact, very comfortable in hand. I beat the snot out of this one. It's in CPM crew wear, excellent steel. Comes with a deep carry pocket clip, and it comes just the way, the way it comes is perfect enough to get to hard using. It's got the Axis lock, and a baton with this one. Go watch the review if you hadn't seen this one. I definitely beat this one pretty darn hard, and I was definitely happy with it. So number one is going to be the BENCHMADE Mini Adamas. Next up, we have the Spyderco knives, and these three are all excellent choices, but this one's not going to make the list for me, mainly because if I recommend this knife, in my opinion, if you don't make a modification to the lock bar and cut this out a little bit, it's just not comfortable to disengage that lock. However, I still love this knife. I carry it a lot, and it can take its abuse. M4 steel, nice hollow grind. It's a good cutter. It's comfortable in hand. I put the aftermarket clip and scales on it, but it's a great knife. But because of the modifications, I didn't put it on the list. Now, Spyderco Shaman, excellent knife, compression lock, beefy. Robust. It's going to be able to handle most of whatever you throw at it. This is a crew wear, but S30V one's just the same. That one's going to be on the list, and the Spyderco Manix is going to be on the list. But if I had to choose one before the other, the Manix is going to be before the Shaman, just because it's easier for me to carry, comfortable, thinner, easy, light. Not lightweight, but definitely Spyderco, maybe their strongest lock, the ball lock right here, the ceramic ball lock. It's a very strong locking mechanism. I would say it's stronger than the compression lock. So number two is going to be the Manix. Number three is going to be the Spyderco Shaman. Number four, the Demko AD20.5. Now, I put these aftermarket scales on, but even with the FRN scales, if you didn't watch my review on that one, I beat the snot out of this one. It's got the shark lock. It's a fun lock to play with, and it's ridiculously strong. I baton with it. I cut through some wires with it. I did a lot of stuff. Anything that I would need to use a folding knife for, I've done it with this thing, and it's plenty strong enough. You'll break the scale before you break the lock or before it disengages on you. Super strong and easy to put on this list, in my opinion. Number five, we have Emerson knives, and pretty much any Emerson you get. This is the Mini Commander, and this is this is the Mini A100, and this is the Emerson Mini Commander. Now, regardless of your feelings on Emerson knives, they're USA made, just like the BENCHMADEs I showed, and they're super tough knives. Very tough. Look at that robust tip there. I know some people don't like chisel grinds, but they cut really well. They're not going to be your super slicers. These are hard use knives. The titanium liner is plenty strong enough. I've batoned with these knives. I've done a lot of crazy stuff with them. This is my second Emerson Mini Commander, and my first one was trashed. Now, the one good thing about these is they have an excellent warranty. If you destroy it, they'll fix it. You know, it's a proven knife for a good reason. The 154 cm is easy to sharpen, and it holds a good enough edge. I like the Mini Commander for this recurve because, man, it traps materials so well, and it's a good cutter. On top of being a overbuilt hard use knife. So I chose, for me, the Mini Commander only because it's really hard to get these Mini A100s. So I know you can get the Mini Commander a lot easier. So that's going to be my my next pick. Number 6, we got the ZTO 640. And it's kind of funny because it looks like a, you know, gentleman's tactical style knife. But I picked this one because I only own two ZTs at the moment, and this one's on washers. Nice and thick, robust blade stock, thick tip right there. You can get some work done on this one. It's got a liner lock, and it's plenty strong enough. I've done some stupid stuff. This is my third 0640. The first one that I sold was pretty wrecked. I put a big chip in the blade, but it's a strong knife. ZT, you know, they used to make overbuilt hard use knives, and they kind of, I don't know what they're doing right now. They hadn't really came out with much besides that new fixed blade they're coming out with. And I don't know. I think that's about it that I remember. So hopefully at SHOT Show we'll see some more. But ZT, they've been a overbuilt hard use company for a long time. USA made, and this is an Emerson design as well. Number 7, we have the Hogue Ritter RSK. And you can throw the Mini RSK if you rather small knives. But another USA made knife with the, I don't know what they call it. We'll call it the crossbar lock, maybe the able lock, I think. I don't know. 20 CV steel, super strong lock. This one's on washers as well. Look how smooth they come out of box. They come with the G10 scales. When I reviewed it, I think I reviewed the Mini, and I put that thing through some abuse, and it can definitely handle it. I'd probably go with the Mini for myself, just because I carry this one a lot more than the full size, but your mileage may vary. Both of them great hard use knives. Number 8, we have the Cold Steel AD15. This one features their Scorpion lock, Demko locking mechanism that he invented. And, you know, when I first had seen this, I was like, I don't know if that'd be strong, but just listen to this. Plus, your grip is going to hold that down as well. There's a spring right here that pushes that down. And I've batoned with this one. I've done all the cool stuff and fun stuff. Definitely one that you can rely on. Look how thick that tip is. You do some light prying with these. And, you know, definitely can handle just about anything that you want to throw at it. This one has G10 scales. They also have it in a lightweight. They're in S35VN. They're Taiwanese made knives. The Taiwan factory does a good job with their heat treats. Pretty much every cold steel knife I've ever tested just did way better than I ever expected. Number 9, we have the Cold Steel Engage. This one has their new Atlas lock, kind of like this lock. It has an extra pin, so it's a very, very sturdy lock. Also, you can keep your fingers out of the blade path. S35VN, comfortable in hand. And if you didn't check out my review on this one, at the end I hammered this into a tree and stood on it. So this is one, no doubt about it. You could definitely you know, bring this. If this was something you'd had to bring, you know, on a deployment or something, I think it would be an excellent one. Just a beefy, robust. I mean, look how thick everything is in there. Look at that. Look at that stop pin. Definitely a massive tank of a knife. And I could definitely recommend it if somebody's looking for something hard use. And it's not going to break the bank. I think they're like, when I bought this, it was $165. I don't know what they are now. But very, very tough knife. Only thing that I don't love on it, and well, really two things. One is how wide it is and bulky, and two, the lock on it, the so-called detent or whatever is a little bit loose on it. It's smooth, but you know that's keeping this one from being the #1 pick. But it was very, very close. Comes with a nice deep carry clip, much better than some of those other cold steel clips that I can't stand. But yeah, very close to being the #1 pick here. And of course, I know y'all knew this already, but in that #1 spot is going to be one of these knives right here. I mean, they've been tested over and over again, and they're just so hardcore strong knives. But we're going to weed them out, and I'm gonna go through my picking process of which one I would choose as my #1 hard use knife. So we're going to start right here. Cold steel 4 Max Scout, super tough. I mean, look at mine. Look at that. That's from, if you haven't watched this review, I beat the snot out of this thing, and it can definitely take it. The price tag on these fluctuates. I bought this one, I think, for 32 bucks. No, 40 bucks. On Amazon, sometimes they'll do a sale on them. You can get them for dirt cheap. I don't know what they're going for now, but they're definitely under 100 bucks. Grivery scales that are pretty comfortable, and the tried and true triad lock. But this one's just way too bulky and heavy for me to carry on a day-to-day basis, so this is not going to be the one. Now, this is where it gets tough, but we'll go to this one next. This is a Cold Steel Code 4. I love this knife. It's easy to carry, lightweight, aluminum scales, S35VN. Of course, all these have the triad lock. All of them are on washers, so you're not going to have to worry about, you know, grime getting into the pivot as much as you would, say, a bearing knife. That's why there's no bearing knives on this list. But this one, sadly, I'm not going to put it as my #1 because the aluminum scales get a little slick for me, and for that reason, can't choose that as my #1. Next up, we have the Cold Steel Recon 1. This is very close to being that #1 pick. You have a fairly lightweight knife with a 4-inch blade here, because this is just slabs G10, no liners, and it doesn't need the liners because it's more than tough enough. I think if I would have had the drop point blade in the Recon 1, it may have made my #1, but because I only have this clip point blade, it's not going to be my #1. All right, we'll go here. The Cold Steel Airlight. Love this knife. This is the easiest one to carry by far, in my opinion, because of how lightweight it is. But I have better choices. This one's in AUS 10A, which they do an excellent job with it, and it holds a good edge. Just, it's not as good as these two. So this is where it gets really tough for me. We have the Cold Steel AD10 and the Cold Steel American Lawman. I went back and forth, back and forth. I've used and abused these a lot. And the AD10 is more comfortable for me because it's got those contoured, thicker scales. S35V on both of these. This one is very lightweight, pocketable, peel ply G10, no liners, smooth action. So which one am I going to pick? Now for me, you know, they're both super tough knives. This one may be a hair tougher. I don't know, because it's got a little bit thicker of a tip there, thicker overall dimensions. But you're going to end up breaking that blade before you break these locks on both of these. So for me, I know I'm going to carry the Cold Steel American Lawman a lot more than I would carry this one. So this one's got to be my #1 pick. But every knife I showed today is hands down excellent hard use knives. You will be happy with just about any of them. I mean, and you got to think about it. I mean, they're excellent hard use knives for stuff that you should be using a folding knife for. Now, you could light pry with probably just about any of these. Not something you should be doing, but you could do it. You could baton with them. Shouldn't be doing that, but you could do it. So definitely love to hear your thoughts. Did y'all enjoy that? You know, the way I made my selections. which one would be your number one pick out of the knives I've shown. And if I didn't show something that you think or you've tested hard and you know it would pass and you carry it often, what would it be? I'd love to hear y'all down in the comments. Hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. And stay tuned. I will be doing another one for budget knives. It's going to be more of budget work knives. All right, guys and girls, I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.